Alright, here's my collection.
Alright, here's the start of my collection. We'll start at the bottom right.
You can see down the bottom right. Down here is my TurboGrafx 16 starting from the right.
See, that's my Sega Genesis and TurboGrafx 16 stuff.
TurboGrafx 16's PC engine, CD, TurboGrafx 16 CD, PC engine. Then go to the left, you see Sega Genesis games, 2 boxes, Streets of Rage 2, Terminator, 2, the arcade game. Then from there you go, you got Road Rash and X-Men 1, X-Men 2, Clone Wars, Sonic 2, and Sonic and Knuckles, and what is it? Miss Pac-Man. And then when you move up from there, you got Super Nintendo to the right. Then from left from there, you got Sega CD.
Alright, here we go. Here's my collection of Super Nintendo and Sega CD games. We'll start over here, and then we'll move on to the more powerful stuff. Sega 32X. You can't see it. There's a row of cartridges there. And Lethal Enforcers for Sega CD, big box. Then from there you got Atari Jaguar, a big stack of games there in the middle. And then from there you move to the left, and you got Atari Jaguar CD. And then we'll move up here to the right, and from the very right you'll see a stack of Philips CDI jewel cases. Move to the left and you'll see 3DO, all those in 3DO, and then you see the 3DO gun. Then we'll move all the way to the left again, and you go over to the Sega Saturn. Can't see, but on the bottom there's a row of jewel cases. Those are more Sega Saturn Japanese imports. And then from there we'll move up to the top right, and you'll see GameCube, top right, middle right, I mean. Then from there you go to Dreamcast in the middle, and then we'll go to Nintendo 64 open games. I put white labels on them. You see those. Then you go to Nintendo 64 boxed games, and then from there you go to PS1, and then PS1 long cases. Then we go from PS1 long boxes over here to the top, to the right. It's Xbox games. Then we moved over to the left of that compartment, and you see PS2 games. We're over here on the bottom. And then the rest of the PS2 games. And then we'll move up to the top right. You see all my PC games. You see, I really like PC games. I got more of those than anything. Then we'll go to the left, and you'll see little Nintendo DS games. And then you see the Nintendo Wii games, and then Sony PSP games, and then Sony PS3 games, and last but not least, on the very end, there you have the Xbox 360 games. Now what I haven't shown is Game Boy Advance games, but there we go. There's my collection. Go from there to there, nice and neat like. Did you get the idea? This PC Engine Turbo Duo here first. Turbo. That's the Turbo Duo. Then from there we go to the Super Nintendo. Then from there we'll go to the JVC X'eye. The JVC X'eye here, as you see above the Super Nintendo, it's flat, and it's
it's a Sega CD and a Sega Genesis, and it plays Sega 32X if you got a 32X console, which I do. So we'll go up. We have the Sega CD, Sega Genesis, and Sega 32X on top of that. Then we'll go to the right from there. Then what came next after that? Philips CDI. It looks like a VCR there. And then above that, you got originally the Atari Jaguar. And then from there, we pan up. And then we got the Panasonic 3DO. Sitting on top of that is another Jaguar. Attached to the Jaguar is a Jaguar CD consoles. So and then from there we go to the right. We have the Nintendo DS. Turn it. Nintendo DSi Lite underneath the black PSP. Nintendo DSi XL underneath the silver PSP. Let's see how much further we can go up here. And then up top, you see the Sega Saturn there. I'm going to go to the left. You got the Sony PlayStation there in the middle. And then next to the PlayStation, you have the Nintendo 64. And then from there, you got the Nintendo GameCube, a black one, sitting on top of its Game Boy Advance player. And then from there, you got the Sega CD sitting next to a black Sega Dreamcast sitting next to the Nintendo GameCube. Here we have PlayStation 2 hidden under the Microsoft Xbox. And as you can see, that's my HD PS2 for high definition. Then above that, as we can see, the Microsoft Xbox. Now the next generation after that, it's weird because as we go along here, you'll see the Xbox 360 is sitting underneath the PS3. Now, the next generation consoles are synonymous with overheating and this, that, and the other, so I decided I'd fix that problem. I have a PC laptop fan underneath the 360, and then behind it I also have the cooler behind the 360. And then on top of the 360 I have another fan, laptop fan, right? And then it cools the PS3 that's sitting on top of the 360. And then behind the PS3 I also have a fan which you can't see. I have a black Wii, but it's not hooked up. It's in the living room. And here's the Wii up top next to that. And then next to that is my HD upscaler, 1080p upscaler switcher. Then below that is another HD scaler switcher. And there you have it. All the above can be turned on with a flip of a switch. I have it all hooked up to a power grid. Each individual generation of consoles is hooked up to a power supply that has a power on and power off button for plug-in, so I don't leave them plugged in all the time. I unplug them, you know, by flip of a switch. So if I want to play that particular game that day, I'll flip the switch and turn it on. And there you have it. There's my tower of power. Down there, you'll see the Windows 95 PC. Down there. There's a Windows 95 PC. That's the Microsoft Sidewinder controller. It's got its own mouse, it's got its own stuff. And here's me sitting in my recliner. Keep back. You know, everything's within arm's reach, so like that, you know. Alright. Alright, now, where were we? Alright, now this is directly across from my collection of games. You can see at the top left. Up here you see the Nintendo Wii. But anyway, this is what my stuff looks like when it's put up. Everything's covered up. I've got magazines on top of the consoles. And on top of controller over here I got do-rag, and over here on top of console I got magazine on top of that, magazine on top of that. And then, you know, on PS3 I got magazine. I made a huge magazine dust cover for that. Magazines on top of that. I got the controllers in plastic. See if I can go over there and show you. Here's my component switchers. I'm using both of those to switch to HD. My DVD hierarchy. We'll get to that later. My computer. That's about as far as I can go. As you can see, everything's covered up nice and neat. And yeah.